Hey, how's it going, everyone? It's John again to play Immaculate Grid back in my home, back in my man cave, where I think I play my best grids and at least struggle a lot less with fumbling around when I have multiple monitors to play with. Once again, I appreciate all you guys tuning in, leaving comments and liking the videos and stuff. I know this is not a high value production. I don't have an editor or anything like that. I just sort of log in, play Immaculate Grid, and you see most of the work I put into this. I literally it takes like a minute to upload it to YouTube, and that's about the extent of it. It's about what I have time for, based on both my sort of professional life and being a new dad and all that. So I appreciate everyone tuning in while I was at producing low quality hostage videos from my hotel. I was working remote the last couple weeks. Gonna get back into it. Gonna play some play some Immaculate Grid here. I did actually get yesterday's grid after scuffling for a couple before that. I think it was yeah, I didn't have an especially rare answer for this one. And there were good answers. Heavy Johnson would have been a good one to go with, but um any event, let's hit refresh, let's hit go, and then away we go. All right. That's a Matt Stairs combo. And that's a Roy Halladay combo, much less rare. It's gonna be like 60%. Ooh, I was pretty much right. Placido Polanco hits these teams. Excellent. Carlos Santana just made that swap over the summer. Let's go with Charlie. Oh, that's a pretty rare one. Oh well, already done. And Ben Ogilvy played for both the Brewers and the Tigers. That works. He also played left field, but let's see. So did Delman Young. I don't know why my mind went there. Shannon Stewart was a long-time left fielder. And let's get Jason Bay for 9 out of 9 in 52-ish seconds. The Rarity score of 109. Santana was up there. Santana the highest? No, McCutchen was the highest. That makes sense. Um, yeah, I guess McCutchen is the highest for both of these. Obviously, Halliday there went sub one with Charlie O'Brien, but I think I've got some good ones there. 5% for Ben Ogilvy. It's actually a little bit higher than I would have thought. I thought I was like pulling out a little niche bit of knowledge. Since Ogilvy had all his like really good years with the Brewers. 1980 was a big year. 41 home runs, over 300 batting average. Great year for Ben Ogilvy. Polanco taking 12%. And then, yeah, let's just think of some left fielders for these teams and see if we can drive this one home. So I'm going to stop sharing and do the reshare and hopefully be less awkward than I know I was in my other videos that were shot just from my laptop. And let's hit refresh and go into it. Let's see. I think I see a couple. So Dodgers, Phillies, Tigers, it's like a triad of teams, and for any two of those, I like to go with Schoolboy Rowe because it's a great name. He goes sub one, but I think he's creeping up in popularity. And then one of my most popular choices, popular amongst me, is Raleigh Hemsley, played for both Pennsylvania teams, as well as both Ohio teams, and the Yankees, and the Browns, and the Cubs. That's a good score right there. Um, and I still haven't learned if it's because I never actually. I think it's Lapointe. Um, I don't think it's French. He takes .03. He works for several teams. That's a good one to go for. Also hits the Yankees, obviously the Cardinals, as you can see, and the White Sox. And then let's see. Dare I go with Mike Matheny, Brewers and Blue Jays? Sub one, but a little bit higher. He only played one season. He was a backup catcher for the Blue Jays. Um, and then for the Tigers, I've gone with Alex Sanchez. I think playing this before, I've gone with Alex Sanchez, who stole a bunch of bases in an otherwise very dismal season for the Brewers in 2002. Um, The Brewers lost 106 games that year, one of the worst teams I've ever watched. But Alex Sanchez stole a bunch of bases. However, the next year Scott Podsednik came up, and the Brewers traded Alex Sanchez. I don't know. I don't even remember for who. Anyway, I've played him before, so I'm not going to do him. I'm going to go with left-handed sidewinding reliever Mike Myers because his delivery was so cool. He was with the Tigers in 97 and then the Brewers in 98. And that was right around the time I started watching baseball. Led the league in appearances, but it was like one of those 80 games pitched, 50 innings pitched kind of deals. He was a classic loogie, and he takes point 0.2. I think Alex Sanchez might have actually been a better pick there. And then for Philadelphia and Toronto, I went with Halladay. I also used Stairs already. He would work. Um, let's go with ex-Brewer closer. I believe still the all-time leader in saves for the Milwaukee Brewers, and that's Dan Plesac. He goes 0.5, decent. And now we're out for the positions. And these ones get me sometimes because it's just with the older players, I don't know if they sometimes I don't know if they played left or right field. I honestly don't know. For example, if Heine Minish, I think I've used him incorrectly before. I think he played a little right and a little left field. I think I used him incorrectly with like the Senators or Twins, but really the Senators. Um, but I'm trying to remember. I think he was mainly a left fielder, and he played for the Tigers in the 20s. But so did Harry Hillman. Maybe Minish was more of a right fielder, but just says one game, and that's what's so tantalizing. Um, Kirk Gibson will do numbers. Heck, Ben Oglivie will do some. Actually, I think Ben Oglivie would be a good pick there, but I already used him. So, according to the rules I've set for myself, which I can always break if I want. I have broken them on accident before, but Kenny Lofton, because he works so well. Kenny Lofton might actually work here. He's mainly a center fielder, but I think he played a little bit of left field. You might be able to sneak him in there. Let's see. I think well, Jason Bay was out there for most of the mid-aughts until about 08. I think is when he's traded to the Red Sox. He also had Xavier Nady and Nate McLouth running around. Brian Giles played a lot of left field. I don't anticipate that being the answer. Al Martin was the left fielder in the 90s, late 90s. I think Giles was in center and Al Martin was in left around the same time. Bonds is obviously going to be a popular. I think I might have seen that as one of the. That might have actually been the most popular pick. Ralph Kiner certainly works. Willie Stargell works. The Pirates have actually been stacked in left field historically. Kiki Keeler, I think, was more of a center fielder, but it wouldn't surprise me if he spent some time in left. Hank Greenberg played a little bit of left field, and I think did so for Pittsburgh in his one season there. See who was playing left field when Clemente was playing right field? Because I can guarantee you that I guess it was Stargell for most of that time. Not all of it, but most of it. And ditto, like, was Al Oliver? I think he would have been a left fielder for Pittsburgh for a while. Anyway, that's a bunch of names. Let's go with Al Martin. I go sub 1. Decent. Let's see. Jose Cruz Jr. will work for left field. I don't think there's any way Sean Green or Raul Mondesi ever played left field because they had cannons for arms, so they probably exclusively played right, which was their main position. George Bell occupies a good chunk of the 80s. Wouldn't surprise me if Lloyd Mosby had been rotated out there. Otis Nixon played in Toronto. I know I use him a lot with Toronto and other teams, but I think he was more of a center fielder. But I know he played some left fields as well. And then Henderson, he'll work. Um, Joe Carter will certainly work. Carter kind of played all over. He hit left, right field, and first base. Not sure if they ever trotted Dave Winfield out there. Dave Parker played ever so briefly for the Blue Jays, but I don't know if he was put out in left field. That would have been like the 91 season. How adventurous am I feeling? And if for whatever reason, the mid-aughts, I'm like after Shannon Stewart is traded to Minnesota, that's in the 03 season. And then actually I have kind of a blind spot going a little ways after that. Now I think about it. Trying to think who I would place out there. I'm gonna try out Otis Nixon. I know he was more of a center fielder. Ooh, ooh, I get burnt. Ah, maybe I should have gone with a safer pick. All right, well, I might as well go with someone at least semi-adventurous for left field over here. Um, I think Sam Crawford was mainly a right fielder, but let's try him out. Man, so I had a 2 aside from that. So let's get a little bit smarter on Otis Nixon. Heck, Carlos Delgado would have worked. Nice. Can't picture Carlos Delgado in the outfielder. Like they even say on Otis Nixon here, center fielder, not center field and sometimes other positions. Even though he like primarily is a left fielder here. I guess he's primarily a pinch runner here. But okay, so he played 103 games in 1997 before being traded to the Dodgers. And he never played left field. Played DH a little bit. That's a little bit weird. Here is like I definitely remember Otis Nixon playing left field for the Braves a little bit in when he returned in 1999. And the nuance there was Andres Galarraga had this big year in 1998, and I believe had to undergo a cancer treatments, if I'm recalling correctly. But he missed that entire season. Um, and then you obviously have Andrew Jones, who's the best defensive center fielder who ever lived in center field, so no sweat there. But what they did is they moved Ryan Klesko, over to first base, and then Otis Nixon played left field. And I want to say Reggie Sanders. No, Brian Jordan. Brian Jordan was the right fielder. I think Reggie Sanders is in that mix. He's traded for Brett Boone. Brett Boone was the second baseman that year. That I think I got it all. And I knew the Braves a little bit better because they were always on TBS. So if I wasn't watching the Brewers, I did want to watch baseball. That's who was on. That and the Cubs on WGN. So anyway, I didn't know it as well as I thought because Nixon played 103 games. They were all either in center field or DH in for the Blue Jays. But it's pretty funny to me, like you go back here and you see Carlos Delgado is the number one pick here because I guess he played a little bit. I knew he played catcher, but I didn't know he played left field. Ooh, Willie, you know what? I should have gone with Willie Upshaw. And the reason why is that Willie Upshaw, for my dad's first book, Can't Miss, um, he leaves a comment on the back that it's a grand slam. The book is a grand slam. I don't know if Willie Upshaw ever read my dad's book, but you know, I like to think he did and actually meant that. But that's what's on the back of Can't Miss is Willie Upshaw saying it's a grand slam. Along with that announcer Musgrove is the other guy. Brent Musgrove? Whatever. Point is those people have like quotes on the back of my dad's book saying how great a book it is. Who should I have gotten? Like Russell Martin? He's a tremendous defensive catcher. What was he doing there? Cecil Fielder? Like seeing like the thought of Carl Salgado or Cecil Fielder covering large tracts of outfield. Yes, left field is normally where you place your weakest outfielder, but I can't picture either of them, tracking down fly balls. But then Otis Nixon, I guess, was exclusively used in center field, even though they had Jose Cruz Jr. that year. I think. I think he was traded for from Seattle that year. All right. Well, didn't get this one, but we'll be back at it tomorrow. Once again, thanks for hanging with me. Hopefully, this is a better quality video because I've got my nicer camera and a nicer view, and Jackie Robinson stealing home, or not if you ask Yogi Berra. Anyway, thanks a lot for playing, and I will talk to y'all later. Peace.